I had one simple goal: to take someone who has absolutely zero, nada, none, probably even negative experience and skills in bike maintenance and bike mechanical things and take them from a zero to a hero. This is going to be good. But before I get too far, let me introduce myself. My name is Grant. I just had flashbacks of the 1990s of that Humpty song. Anyway, my name is Grant, Roo Bike, but I hate to admit it, I'm that zero. For the last 10 or so years, my practice with bike maintenance and repairs has been to just simply take my bike in anytime it needs help to my local bike shop, hand it over to them, and let them do their thing. This really hasn't been a problem for me except in a couple of areas. I tend to let my bike maintenance and repairs go all the way until the end of the season, just simply because as that summer season progresses, the bike shops get crazy busy and there's absolutely no way I'm going to be without my bike for 2, 3, whatever, however many weeks it is. So it just kind of sits and things gradually get worse and worse in a more terrible state. So I want to change that. You know, I have a goal to be a better biker in general, and as a part of that, being able to do simple bike repairs and bike maintenance is definitely a piece of that, right? We're not talking about anything crazy here like refloating the transmug bob. So how do I plan on going from zero to hero? Easy. I'm gonna do what any normal person would do and watch a whole bunch of tutorials on YouTube. I'm gonna go chat with the nice folks at my local bike shop and we're gonna get it done. Sounds easy, right? And I think I have the perfect project to tackle. I have a road trip planned next week, and I'm noticing my tires aren't holding air anymore. And I'm kind of seeing some weird wet spots on the back rear tires. I'm not quite sure what's up with that. The internet has some conflicting information. Maybe it's a big deal, maybe it's not. I don't know, we'll see. But I thought this would be a great opportunity to learn how to rejuice my tires. Okay, before I get too far, let me quickly go over the steps I'm going to take here to get this project done. First, we need to determine whether or not we have any juice left in those tires. How are we going to do that? Well, I found a couple of different ways that people are saying are viable, right? We could do the shake test. These are light. Can you hear any liquid rolling around in there? 2, can you see any liquid in there? You know, open the tire up sort of a thing. And 3, I actually made this one up myself. I don't know how valid it is. I thought you could weigh the tire. You could take like a before, an empty weight, and then you could compare that with whatever the current weight is. And between those, you could determine, you know, what's the odd factor here? It's the juice. We'll test that out as well. Okay, so after we've got that information, we actually have to refill and rejuice those tires. And we're going to go over a couple of different ways to do that. We're going to go over the injector method. We're going to go over the pour and go method. We're going to go over, well, that's really actually it, those 2 methods. Okay, there we go. Okay, so since I've never done this before, I thought it would be good and smart to kind of become familiar with all of the different methods and try a mix. And so let me share with you what I learned from doing those different methods. Number 1, getting the tire valve out of there so you can pour juice in there or quickly deflate it is way easier than I thought. Previously, a long time ago, I had accidentally bent that little piece that sticks up when you're screwing down that valve to tighten it. And I was terrified from that moment on that these things were basically made out of glass. You had to treat them so very carefully. Well, good thing to come out of this, who cares? If you do bend it, you just unscrew the thing and put a new one in. So that's a win in that department. The next thing I learned was getting the tire bead up and over and off that rim is an absolute nightmare. I mean, what a pain in the ass. I'm sorry, but holy cow. I don't know whether it's just the bead I have on my particular tire in combo with maybe the wall of the rim itself is super thick or tall or whatever the case is. I don't think I've cussed that much for a very long time. In fact, I broke a tire lever trying to pop the back tire off the rim. Oh my gosh. In fact, if you guys know of a good tire lever, please leave a comment below because I am now missing one. I must have been doing something wrong. There's got to be a better, way easier way. Please also help me out, comments below. Next thing, I honestly don't know. I saw an awful lot of tutorials on you could determine how much juice was in your tire by shaking it. Okay, so I remember taking off the front tire, and at first I couldn't hear any juice in there. I thought, oh, that's cool, it's totally dry. And then all of a sudden, I did another quick shake test, still same tire, hadn't done anything different to it, and I could hear liquid in there. Don't know. When I finally got it opened, it was totally empty, totally dry. There was maybe, I don't even know, like a thimble's worth of juice left from whatever hadn't evaporated yet. Interestingly enough, when I put 4 ounces, my tire size called for, 4 ounces of juice in there, and I redid the shake test, I was expecting to hear like a whoosh, 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 whoosh. I barely heard anything. It was almost an identical sound to when I did it before it was completely empty. So I guess the takeaway is I really don't think the shake test to hear if you have juice in there is of any use whatsoever. And in fact, even if you can hear something, how do you know how much juice to put back in the tire after the fact, right? Do you just not follow the recommendations and put in like 1 ounce or 2 ounces or whatever it is? I don't know. Hit me up below again, because that one seems, unless you either open the tire up or you have like an actual weight of what your tire should be, how in the heck are you supposed to know? So, I don't know. That one was a head scratcher. Okay, so the next thing I learned, it is actually way easy, counter to what I saw on many tutorials, to fill the juice through the valve stem once you got the valve out, right? A couple of the tutorials I saw, they just made an absolute mess. Oh, quick tip, what I did learn about that was you have to, unless you want to make a huge mess, you have to screw that injector on before you put the juice in the plunger thing. Otherwise, you're gonna just squirt and sprinkle latex gunk all over the place. Not good. So just do yourself a favor, screw that on ahead of time, super easy, then fill it, then push it in. Couldn't be easier, not messy, if you can figure out how much juice to put in, that is. Cool. I saw so many videos on how easy, how possible it was to reseat that bead with the floor pump. I had mixed results there. The front tire, I was able to, all right, I'm hearing it. That scared the crap out of me. To be honest, a little embarrassed to admit this, it scared the crap out of me. I was expecting a small, but it was more like a boom. I jumped, I screamed, don't tell anybody. That's the truth. Now, I was not able to repeat that with the back tire though. Oh, it's noisy? Now I know it's gonna pop. Oh my gosh. For some reason, maybe it wasn't filling that channel enough, whatever the case was, no matter how hard and fast and ferocious I pumped, and trust me, I was like sweating by the time I was done, I could not get that thing to reseat. The other thing, the compressor. Everybody says you have to have a compressor. Well, I don't know about that, because I didn't have was the appropriate Presta valve fitting, right? The Presta valve I had, the diameter of the threads was much smaller than the female end of the nozzle I had. So like it didn't even work at all. I was lucky in the fact that my Presta, or I think it's Presta, but my a little adapter thing fit this tiny little car inflator that I have. And I was able, although that doesn't put out a whole lot of volume of air, maybe it's just that it was consistent, I was finally able to get that bead to pop. It actually popped a few times. I hope it's okay. Then I put the, then I could refill it from there. So, hot tip, make sure you have the right tools ahead of time. Otherwise, if you're anything like me, it's gonna be a curse fest. Okay, let's wrap there. Again, this wasn't meant to be a tutorial. There are tons of good tutorials out there. What I did want to hit on here is Would I try this again? Was it helpful for me? Were the videos enough? And talking to my local bike shop, was that all enough to push me along that path and get the job done? Well, yeah, it was. What they don't prepare you for, though, in all those tutorials and asking people for help is the mindset you need, right? Above the actual watching someone how to do it that you need is A, patience, because it's gonna be a pain in the butt. You're gonna hit roadblocks, you're gonna hate it. So you're gonna have to be able to like just chill out and be willing to figure it out, right? So patience and fortitude. You gotta stick with it, you gotta keep at it. You gotta have that tenacity to keep going. It is definitely better on the other side, because now, even if I choose to never do this again, I can say that my confidence level is much higher. So, I mean, if nothing else, this allows me to help someone else that's struggling on the trail. That's a huge win there. And I feel more comfortable and confident in my basic ability that I can maybe build from there. Also a huge win. Now, will I continue to progress down my journey to be a better bike repair person, maintenance person? Yeah, I think so. All right, and lastly, definitely having all of the right tools is a huge perk. And this is where I need your guys' help. Help me find some better levers. I tried a Park one, and I hate to say that, that's the one that snapped right in half. I had a Pedro's that's the size of like a screwdriver. The thing's huge. Please help me. Leave a comment below. What are some basic tools I need as I'm starting to progress down this journey? Would love to hear from you. Okay, cool. I'm gonna wrap there, but I would really honestly love to hear from you guys. Where should I go next? What should my next project be to help me along this repair maintenance sort of a journey? How can I build my skills? I would love to hear from you. And while you're at it, please subscribe. I would really love that too. Again, Grant, Roo Bike, thank you so much. Bye.